All right, welcome. This is our first live on our Bridgeport Facebook group. We are so excited to have you all here with us. So go ahead and let us know, where you're from, what companies you might be with, maybe what industry that you are in, and why you might be interested in supply chain logistics and technology. So we're on live on Facebook. We're also live on Instagram now, or not Instagram, LinkedIn.
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 I don't
I
know if
just
the
got up for
Instagram crowd
Instagram
would.
too.
I don't know if the Instagram crowd would uh like the content so much. I think LinkedIn is a better is a better approach.
Yeah, so I'm Izzy Nally, and here I have with me Alex Harper. Alex knows far more about supply chain logistics and technology than I do. We are with Bridgeport, which is a specialty company in supply chain logistics. We have trainings, we have consulting services, we are in the community and creating pipelines for the communities to thrive, which is a unique stance and which makes me so proud to work for this company as well. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Alex, about what is this current stance on inflation prices. This is huge right now. What is going on with this?
And here's the thing about inflation is, and I do know supply chain logistics, but I do not claim to be an economics major by any stretch of the imagination. So there's going to be some numbers in here, but I don't do the calculations on how inflation is actually calculated. But some of the major issues and supply chain kind of came to the forefront last year. I'll say at the beginning of last year, just as maybe the coronavirus was kind of subsiding as far as in popularity, and then it started to say, "Hey, where's my toilet paper? Hey, why are the shelves bare? Hey, all these different things," and people start saying it was supply chain. And then next thing you know, people say, "Well, what's supply chain? How does that affect the way that I get my groceries?" And so it was a lot of things that happened last year that added to the inflation that we're currently seeing. There were events like the winter storm in Texas, for example, that directly affected supply chain. We had the Suez Canal blockage, which again directly affected supply chain and over $200 million worth of raw materials and product. You had the Shanghai airport terminal, and if for anyone that as I'm calling these off, if anybody doesn't know these, I immediately suggest you Google it, look into it a little bit to see how some of these global events actually affect you and your day-to-day life at home. Like for
Now, I'll tell you, Alex, I see a lot of people on, especially my Facebook page, friends, family, they are blaming all of these inflation rates on the government and that the government did something and now they're all high. But I think a lot of people just don't understand that supply chain is a factor, that there's the production and the manufacturing has gone down because of employee shortages, for one.
yeah.
And then also shipping rates are going up. And so these are all factors within supply chain and logistics.
Yeah, and there's no one thing that makes inflation. So just to kind of debunk that, there's no one thing that makes inflation. It's normally a culmination of a lot of different factors. Like for example, when I mentioned the winter storm in Texas, you're gonna automatically have some agricultural issues because there are things that are grown in Texas, but you're also gonna have that when for example, the electricity went out. So now those are stores that have to reorder a lot of food. So now that puts more
Mhm.
stress on their supplier. And
True.
one of the beautiful things that actually came out of COVID were a lot of companies realized that they needed to change their kind of strategic approach to getting to the end user.
Yes.
Supply chain in its simplest form, and I'm trying in the simplest form is simply going from raw goods to end consumer and every step in between. So if any one of those steps are influenced by anything else, that's how you get the demand issues go up because your supplies go down. So that's kind of the simpler version of what supply chain is, and logistics is kind of overseeing all of those things. But
Yeah, so I was reading an article that you sent to me this morning, and it was saying how businesses are really taking this new approach to diversifying. And
right,
typically we hear that word with stocks, right? So, but now we're hearing it in supply chain and logistics, where we're diversifying where we're getting our goods because we don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket.
yeah, and that's what they were finding out. They were finding out that if one company, because say that I'm making cabinets, for example. So if I'm making cabinets and I'm getting the little small brass knobs from your company, but your company are getting these brass knobs from China, I'm completely unaware of where you get your raw goods and materials,
Which is common.
which is common. Why should I have to kind of be in your books to find out where you get your stuff from? Right. So the problem turns into, hey, I need 400 brass knobs for these cabinets so I can fill this order. And you're like, hey, I would give them to you, but they're on a boat coming from China and they're stuck. And now I'm stuck because I don't have another supplier to provide me with the same quality of brass knobs for my cabinets, which
Mhm.
then now I have to immediately go find a new supplier. I have to pay whatever premium that I have to pay at that point just simply to fulfill the order. And then at that point, I have to pass those costs along to the consumer. So
Yeah,
that
so we can see, we can
all these.
definitely see like why that's starting to delay the process,
Mhm.
why that's causing rates to go up. And for companies to have to do all this additional work as well, we need more qualified, educated supply chain logistics technology people in the industry. And there isn't a ton
Absolutely.
of people in the industry that really knows it well that can do all of this background work.
And one of the things that we're doing, and you mentioned it as far as at Bridgeport, is getting out into the community. In order to sustain the industry, you have to constantly be bringing more people into it. You have to constantly be getting more interest into it. So we go out into the community and we actually educate people on what exactly supply chain logistics are. And again, we offer them our training program, but along with that, we also kind of educate them on, hey, supply chain just isn't your local grocery store.
No.
Supply chain isn't just big government, big pharma, big whatever conspiracy theory is interesting this week, um, dealing with pushing inflation up to gouge the consumer. So it's so much more, but educating the general public, again, educating through our training programs that we provide on supply chain logistics and even the technology factor. Because one of the other big things that came out of I'll say COVID, but I don't like to use that buzzword. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
say out of the last couple years. So out
Hmm.
of the last couple years, another one of the big things that came out of it was digitalization and automation within supply chain, within manufacturing as well, because it makes it more efficient. The more you can produce, the higher you can, or the more you can produce, the more you can get to the end consumer, the less the price has to be. So that's the other additional that came out of this too, is that the digitalization as well as getting more into the technology aspect of manufacturing goods and services.
Yeah, and so that's one thing that's super awesome. When I was interviewing to work with Bridgeport, they were mentioning that we have this new drone technology in the warehouses, and it was just like, oh, like warehouse technology and working in a warehouse is so much different than how our parents and grandparents did it. This is so much, and we see this, right? We see all these warehouses popping up. Everyone's ordering for places like Amazon and just online shopping and things of that nature. So the landscape has dramatically changed. And this is something really cool that Bridgeport is doing. And we're going to talk on later episodes. We've got the iSpace building that is a big project right now with technology.
Zero
And
emission building.
yeah, and it's initiative. It's mind blowing. Okay, so everyone, just make sure that you're staying tuned. So when we talk about that in another episode, but bringing us back to here, like this warehouse landscape has changed a lot, and so how we need to train people to work in that warehouse needs to change. And Bridgeport is on the forefront of that, bringing this 9-week training program that allows people to be in the career field of supply chain logistics, not just another warehouse job. This is a career. So Alex, can you tell us a little bit more about that? And let me know if you need me to do the screen share and setting that up too.
Yeah, so just to kind of preface that as well. So what we found out, because that again, in times of crisis, you kind of have to find outside of the box solutions. So we started looking for different solutions, and we actually, one of our clients let us know that over in Asia that they're using drone technology in the warehouse for inventory control, mainly for inventory control. So we started looking at things like that. So we actually partnered with a drone company to add that to our structure for our 9-week course. And right now, our 9-week course offers 5 in-demand certifications. And here, it probably would be better if I shared my screen a little bit. But I can continue talking through this. Yeah, so our current 9-week course offers 5 in-demand certifications. These certifications we are nationally recognized, and what we decided to do was we decided to make them stackable certifications in order to give the participant the best opportunity to gain or to obtain gainful employment, and not only just gainful employment, but again begin an actual career within the industry. Just a little background history about Bridgeport. We're a fourth-party logistics provider. We do global supply chain and global supply chain consulting, and we also do importing from our multiple factories or multiple warehouses. And we have one in Monterrey, Mexico that we are leasing, also Louisville, Detroit, and now Miami. So just kind of a quick background on Bridgeport. Just some of our past clients, certifications, and partners. I'm not going to read all of these because we don't have that kind of time. But as you can see on the screen,
it's impressive, right? That's the point.
Right. So just to kind of give a general synopsis of what we do and what we've been doing since 2004. So to kind of go into our supply chain program.
Which the supply chain program is just awesome. So while Alex is getting that up, I see Alex and Dominic. They're going out into the community. They're getting people that really need to up level from a job to a career, to stop job chasing, and really empowering people within the community. And it's just absolutely amazing.
Right. And again, what we try to do is we try to introduce people to the industry. The supply chain industry is projected. It was actually projected to do 50 million, and now it's actually projected to do over 200 million in the next 5 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, so I'm having technical difficulties with the slides, so I figured to be me more effective, I can just talk through it and kind of, yeah. So what we decided to do is, and I briefly, you saw a quick clip of Congressman Anthony Gonzalez. He came by. We actually set up a full roundtable right inside our facility, where we facilitate the program. And we had a real discussion on workforce development programs and a real discussion on supply chain issues and how they affect Ohio. And that again gives us the insight that we can put and we can build into the curriculum as we're bringing people in. So we're not just saying, hey, this is what we think and this is the end all be all. We're reaching out to our customers. Hey, what are you guys seeing on a real time basis? We're reaching out to some of these government officials. Hey, what are some of the different laws that are being talked about for different things that are being implemented in order to avoid some of these supply chain issues in the past? And then on top of that, we're just talking to everyday consumers, and we're trying to find out again to make the program as encompassing as possible and to make it as relevant and add as much value as possible. We need as much information as possible as well. So
yeah, and that's super awesome because you, James, Andre, like always talking to people in the government, always chatting with people in the community. And you all are always bringing people in as guest speakers within the program. The program is also in the companies. Like you all are going and touring these facilities
Really?
so that it is real world. It's not just theory. It's not just knowledge. And I'm always preaching like knowledge without action is not really worth much.
Yeah. And
But you all are really including the action, the tangible results that people really, really need to build that confidence to go into a job or into this career.
yeah, and because we're trying to help build the industry, and we say help build the industry, we are small part of a $16 trillion industry. But because we're help trying to get people into the industry, some of those site visits, some of those speakers are invaluable, because it's one thing for us to tell you, it's one thing for you to see the modules, to do your own kind of research, to do these different things. But when we have, for example, we just had a gentleman, the executive director of Cleveland Clinic Supply Chain, come in and talk about clinical supply chain. But Cleveland Clinic as a hospital network, Cleveland Clinic is a big hospital network for anybody. It's a huge hospital network. But you would never think of, they have a supply chain as well. They need gowns, they need syringes, they need the little things that go over your shoes. They need all these things, so they have to order all these things. So there's a supply chain that's there as well. But then just as well, tomorrow, actually today, excuse me, today we have Nestle Corporation coming in to speak to the class, and they have a whole completely different supply chain issues and needs and things like that. But again, the variety of companies that come in and the students are able to interact with and ask questions on say, hey, for example, we had somebody ask if Cleveland Clinic outsources their like ambulances and their vehicles, and if that's part of their supply chain. And the answer is yes, surprisingly. Because you would think that they would just paint their logo on a van and that's to be, but they need more specifics of things that are inside of it. But those are questions that you wouldn't ask. I wouldn't think to ask, and I'm in the industry. So
Right.
so those help people kind of connect the dots.
Well, and we need that, right? Like going to school, right? Like we go and get our 4-year, or sometimes in like my case, a 10-year degree, and you leave, and it's not enough because you need the experience. And so these particular certifications allow us to fast track and allow us to just jump right in and have that experience, which again builds the confidence. Because I mean, confidence is something that it takes some time to build. So we're fast tracking it.
So I got a quick story, and I'm gonna be quick. So I have a quick story about confidence. So there's a gentleman, I'm not gonna use his name because we're live, So there is a gentleman that currently is in a he's in a mission. I can say that. He currently lives in a mission. He took the program just on the, hey, I'll take something to do something. As he started getting more, he started to learn more. He started to get more interesting. So we take a tour of one of the local manufacturing plants up here, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. The program is based out of Cleveland, Ohio. So we take a tour, and as he's going through the tour, he's pointing out to the HR director and to the safety person, hey, this guy has a hoodie on and the strings are hanging down. That's safety violation. One of the certifications that they get is an OSHA certification. So they as we continue to walk through, he's saying, hey, these I forget what the chemical was, but this barrel of chemicals can't be this close to the dock doors. They're supposed to be X amount of feet from the dock doors. So, but he's pointing this out to the actual employer that he would be asking to get a job for. So it's great because he's displaying his expertise, but also, to your point, that confidence to know that I'm right. So not only am I right, I'm going to tell you how to correct your process. And that's something that at the beginning of the program, because again, this is only a 9-week program. So we're talking 6 weeks ago, he had no clue about any of this stuff, in anything about anything. Now he has 4 certifications, working on his 5th one. He's certified logistics associate, certified logistics technician, OSHA 10, and his Red Cross CPR. And he's working on his forklift operator actually on Friday.
That's
So
awesome.
those are the type of things of when, and again, it helps people feel empowered that they got 5 certifications. That's something that he can go back and tell his family. And again, I'll not go too far into his backstory, but people start to give up on you. And then so
Yeah.
when you start to get into an industry that, and you can start to tell them, hey, this is not only what I'm learning, but this is also what I can teach you, or this, I can help you get into this industry, or I can immediately go on to the job and add value. What we try to do with the program is the program is not designed, and I'm be very specific because I tell the students this all the time. It's not designed for a job that you can walk in and get on your own. We're not going to waste our time for that. We're not going to waste the students' time for that. The program is designed for that second tier of employment, that managerial, that supervisor role, that supervisory role. That's those salary positions. We never want anyone to feel stagnant. We never want them to feel like they have a lack of options. So that's another reason why we included those stackable certifications, because even with your OSHA and Red Cross CPR, for example, you may be able to walk into an organization and become their safety director. So it's not even something that has to be exclusive to supply chain or logistics. You can go in as a safety director, but now you're in the industry, and now you have the ability to move up within that same industry as well.
So awesome. And so Bridgeport does this more than just offering the certification to the public. Bridgeport also is able to train corporations and businesses and train their employees for them as well. So tell us more about that.
So one of our big things actually, and so our individuals that we work with are almost kind of our heartfelt, what we want to do to kind of what our bread and butter mostly is training, upskilling, and training corporations and staffs. What we have found is that, and the studies support this as well, is that it actually costs more to recruit an employee than it does to retain an employee. Almost 3 times as much. And then that's if the employee pans out. So
Mhm.
1 out of every 3 employees that you bring on are going to leave within the first 6 months, which means you have to turn around and find another employee, or you have to do all these recruiting efforts. Whereas and then they have to work out. So then, you never know if they're actually qualified. What we found, especially through a lot of our customers and clients, is that by upskilling your current staff, not only does that help with employee retention, but that also helps with efficiency within your organization, and improves your profit margin, because the upskilled staff can now train your new hires. Your upskilled staff can come in and train your existing staff. And these individuals are people that were identified by the organization. So they're not just sending everybody, but they're picking out their selected 5, their selected 3 that they've identified that may be moving up in the upper management soon. So we want to make sure that they have the proper certifications. So these are some of the things that, as far as organizationally, that we found that help other organizations with their process, and also, again, improve their bottom line and run more efficiently throughout the entire organization.
Mhm. Yeah. And so we have Alex's email below. So you can see that and reach out to Alex to set up either one of these, to inquire more about being in the program yourself, or to inquire about how can we set up training to make your business life so much easier, and guarantee that they have consistent training as well. When we're short staffed, that's hard.
Yeah, and one more thing I wanted to add on that, we do customized training as well. So if there's something within your organization where you upskill your current staff, but you want to upskill them specifically to what you need them to do, we offer that ability as well, to give them the chance, or give you the opportunity to upskill your staff specifically, not just send them through the program. Though our program is fantastic, as an organization, you might want to, niche train them, and we can offer that as well.
Yeah, and we know like everyone's multitasking now within businesses. Everyone has gone lean, and we need to use HR people to do their HR stuff aside from trying to train someone in something that they might not even be an expert in. So by having the experts come in and train again, that consistent training, that's super key as well, to make sure that everyone is getting the exact same thing that they need.
Right. Right.
Evening the playing field.
Yeah, and then what you got to remember too is just in general, as an organization, you want to run as smoothly as possible. So a lot of companies, a lot of our clients that we found, because again, we come in and do process improvement consulting. They just get stagnant. They get comfortable with what they're doing. Even you look up and they've been doing waterfall for the past 30 years. So waterfall is a project management. So they've been doing old antiquated techniques, I'll say.
And we do agile training too. We have online agile certifications. We have online project management certifications. Bridgeport has got it going on. I will just say that.
Yeah, we definitely. I believe that we're one of the, and this is from being in the, not only just being in the industry, but dealing and talking with other organizations. I feel like as far as our course catalog for training, we probably have the most vast course catalog for training on a corporate level that I've seen. And again, I don't do all the training. I'm just in supply chain logistics. So seeing the amount of courses that we offer here at Bridgeport and are able to offer to corporations, I just haven't seen anyone else.
For sure. And again, that's another area where we can come in, we can customize agile transformations. We come in and assist with that. We do the consulting on that aspect. The possibilities are endless, and we have experts. I said this is probably the smartest group of people I've ever worked with in my life, and it's a small group on top of that. So that's saying a lot because I've worked in a lot of spaces. So by all means, people take advantage of this. At least reach out. We are more than happy to have a phone call with you to see how we can strategize what that would look like. I always call them like mapping out your success. We are more than happy to do that and have conversations. We are real, friendly people. We're real. I'm like, pinch, I'm here. So by all means, reach out. Again, I'll put Alex's information up here so that you can contact Alex, and we'll get that set up. We'll work with you, and we look forward to chatting with you. And please stay tuned.
Yeah,
we're going to be on here at least once a month on Tuesday. We've got around the third Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m. To speak about Bridgeport and how we can help you in this industry, giving you a little industry update. And we hope to see you again this next month.
Absolutely. Smart people are coming up soon. I was just the first one. I was the guinea pig. The smart people will be on. Smart people will be on the upcoming shows. Please tune in.
Yeah, and we have another show that's going to be starting this Friday. So this Friday, we're starting our live cast, and we've got Andre, the managing partner, who is super ultra brilliant, and he's going to be telling you so much. I cannot even find the words to tell you, but you're not going to want to miss it. I'm just going to say that.
Definitely tune in for that. I'm going to tune in for that. I'm going to be in the chat box for that one.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Alex, for joining me. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And we will talk to you soon.